Welcome to the Dice Tower, a series of video reviews about board and card games. Here are your hosts, Tom Vassell and Sam Healy.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. Hello.
Sam Healy, what's up, y'all?
Today we're taking a look at IELLO's big release for 2017, and that's Arena
For the
gods.
Now this was a big announcement on their part. It was a bunch of gods fighting in an arena with different weapons and things. This is coming from a company who's made one of the most popular of this game, King of Tokyo / King
style
of
of
New York,
game,
right? But it's also coming out in an arena where there's several of these games out there now. We got the Ultimate Warriors. We got the robot game from Simon. And so, is this one different? Well, this one is different in the sense that before the game starts, or I guess the first part of the game, you are customizing with weapons and such. How does that work? Let's show you. The first thing you'll do in Arena is you build the zone. So there are these traps here, or they could be healing pools. Or you have these pillars, which are made up of 2 cardboard pieces, which you'll fold together and then put together like this. Now, these things look a lot more dangerous than they are. They're really just kind of walls. So you can basically, if you want to make the arena smaller, I'm cutting off a corner there. So you can do that. And in fact, the book has a ton of scenarios, which are basically just different setups here. They show you that the game will be shorter or longer based on how much of the area and how many players are that area should be for. Each player is going to choose one of the gods who's about to come into the arena and fight. And at the beginning of the game, they're going to be placed on the outside of the arena. But you need to equip them. Now, you can equip them based on, in the rule book, there is a set where it just tells you what equipment to give everybody. But the way that the game is mostly played is everyone's going to get a shield, and behind that shield, they're going to have 20 life cubes. These are how many hit points you have, but you're going to be bidding those. So at the beginning of the game, you're going to draw weapons cards equal to the number of players. Each weapon is going to have some sort of effect based on the combination that it shows here. So this one here lets you push an adjacent hero, and you can re-roll one more time. This one deals 1 damage to adjacent heroes, and then also gives them an exhaustion token. So you're going to have 4 of these out here. Players will all bid secretly on them by putting some hit points in their hand, revealing them. Whoever reveals the most gets to pick which of the 4 weapons they want. Then the second most gets to pick from the leftover, etc. If people have bid the same amount, then they can hopefully come to a good conclusion who gets what. Otherwise, it's random as to the weapons you get. Once you're done with that, each person is then going to pick a steed in the same way. You're going to draw 4. So you might have the elephant, or a giant Chinese dragon, or an alligator, or a turtle. There's all sorts of steeds, and each of these are going to have something to do with movement usually, like choose an adjacent hero, move 1 space, move the chosen hero to the space you left. Or Fenrir, which is actually lets you move a space, and then do 1 damage to an adjacent hero. So you have, each person's going to get 1 of these in the same way with the same bidding. Then we have armor or shields, like Thor's iron gloves, or the sun god's mask, or the skin of the Nemean lion. And each of these is going to usually give you a token, like this, that you'll put on, and when someone attacks you, you'll be able to block some of the damage. And then finally, each person gets a magic spell. And again, this is done the same way. 4 of them are a number are placed out equal to the number of players, and you'll bid on them. And these just let you do all sorts of things, like switch your position with another hero, turn an unused die to the face of your choice. Whoever wins this one, first pick, is going to pick where they start, and all the gods are going to be placed in the arena somewhere on the outer edge. Then one of them is chosen to go first. They're going to roll 7 dice. Now, when they roll these dice, they're going to use the combinations that they've rolled to activate their cards. So if I have the axe here, I can do 1 damage to an adjacent hero by using a sword. Now, you have 1 reroll that you can do. So if you don't like what you roll, you have a chance to re-roll it. And if the combinations don't match your card, players have a shield in which they're going to keep their hit points behind, And 2 swords always does a damage to somebody. 2 movement always lets you move. 2 shields lets you push somebody, and if you push them into a wall or something or a trap, they'll take a point of damage. And 2 suns lets you do a damage to a hero of your choice. Sometimes different things are going to give you exhaustion tokens. You simply will place these on your shield, and when it's your turn, each one of these that you have lets you roll 1 less die. And I already mentioned the shield tokens, it's the same thing. You'll put them here. If someone attacks you, you can activate it. So for example, if I have the Imperial Shield, I will deal -1 to an adjacent hero. That's actually kind of an attack thing. This one here, I gain this. I can always spend it to gain 1 life or to move 1 space. So there's different things that these will let you do, but you're kind of saving up in the future. So players are just going to move around and attack each other. Each person's going to take a turn moving around and hitting other players, and you're going to be losing life points probably at a startling rate. When one person runs out of life points, they are eliminated from the game, and the game also instantly ends. Whoever has the most life points is the winner. There's also a couple variants in the rulebook where you can play everybody against 1. So that one person has more hit points than everybody else. Or you can play teams. And I already mentioned you can, instead of drafting cards or bidding for them at the beginning, just take the 4 cards that kind of match the character that you have. That's how you play. All right, as typical with Yellow, I mean, it's just automatic. Artwork's good. It's good, fantastic. I mean, that's just kind of the thing.
Yeah, they always knock it out of the park with their design.
Not to dismiss the work that goes into it, because you get used to good artwork from a company and then you go, yeah, artwork's good. No, it's good.
Yeah.
They're still doing well.
Right.
That should be commended. They really know how to tackle that. The artwork on the standees is great. Card art is especially fun because on several of the cards, they've gone outside the frame a little bit, and it's just those little touches where you go, that's good graphic
Makes
design
it pop
right
a
there.
little bit more.
Yeah.
What'd you think about the components? Do you like the cardboard standee towers?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you have to kind of break down, I don't know if you have to absolutely break down all of those towers every single time.
You got to flatten them out again.
No, you do.
You have to flatten them out every single time. Yeah, well, that's kind of an annoyance. I would rather the box have been maybe a little bit deeper so that you didn't have to do that, which just makes setup for your next game a little bit more quick and streamlined.
That would be a much bigger box. It would have to be way bigger. But
I guess.
Well, I would have preferred miniatures while we're at it.
yeah, sure.
No, but I'm being serious. I think that the miniatures would have looked better. The standees are okay, but I think miniatures would have been cool.
That's true. But again,
I
with
think
miniatures and with the bigger box, you're at that point you're adding a lot of cost
That's
to
right.
the production of the
That's
game, which means the game's it's going to be more expensive.
I mean, I don't tend to be a big fan of the fold this thing and then stick a whatever on top of it to make it stay, or fold it into itself. Those are horrible. No. But as far as that style of thing, these are about the best ones I've seen. It's not a square, and so you just fold them in. That thing is the spaces in it are large enough where you can very quickly sort of form those towers.
Yeah.
Put the pillars out there, and you're done. So again, I'm not a fan of it. I wouldn't be like, oh, everybody start doing this if you can help it. But if you have to do it to keep a price point, this is well done.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the beginning of the game, the prelude of sorts, where you're going to auction for the cards.
I think it's pretty interesting that you're auctioning with your health. Because so the more you spend, the more powerful you're going to be, but the fewer hits you can take.
Right.
Which is, it seems non-intuitive, because if you're more powerful, you should probably be more healthy as well. But it's a cool give and take, I think.
Right. I like it. I think it's interesting. I remember the first time I played, I hadn't quite grasped how the whole thing was going to work, and I thought you drafted and then played and drafted and played and draft. I was like, oh, this is kind of a long draft setup. But then when we started playing, the person teaching me the game was like, no, that was it. Like, you drafted one time, and I would play the rest of the game. I'm like, oh, got it, perfect. And I think it's fantastic to be able to do that customization. It's like, I mean, I do, and I think you guys do, love games that are asymmetrical. Characters that are their own character, have their own powers, make me feel different. And this game's going to do that every time, and the characters are not even going to be the same every time, right? If I play that guy on the side there, he will be different from one game to the next. And that's great. And there's that strategy of, you know what, I don't care what I get. I'm going to be the healthiest one going into the arena. I'll deal with whatever you all leave for me. Mm-hmm. That's a way to go. You know, you could do that. Is it going to pan out? I don't know, but it's an interesting idea, you know?
Right.
Well, this is where I disagree with these guys, actually. First of all, I like the whole get to different things. That's great.
Right.
Great idea. I'm not a fan of auctioning off health for a couple reasons. And first of all, I should mention in the beginning, in the back of the rule book, they have sets of cards you take for your first game.
Oh, okay.
Should definitely do that. Okay? Because I think for a new player coming in, they have no idea how much health anything is worth.
Right.
I'm always concerned with an auction game where you don't know the value of things. So is this card worth 4 health? Is it worth 2? I'm just not real keen on that. I feel like it's kind of like you're just trying to guess, and it's meta too, based on other people who are playing.
Yeah.
And it really kind of sucks when you bid 4 health, and so does everyone else at the table. And so, or 2, maybe one other person at the table, and then you can't agree on who gets what. So then it's random.
I guess you went into it with more of a gamey aspect to it, where you're trying to maximize your benefit in the game. I went into it just saying, okay, I have the Valkyrie. I'm going to get all of the stuff that I think a Valkyrie would get. I don't care how much I have to pay for it.
Oh, no, I get that, but I'm saying for new people. I'm not thinking about the game. I'm thinking a new person coming in. They're going to be thrown off by that auction a little bit because they're not sure what to bid for everything. And I just found that bidding thing that I would almost have rather been drafting. Everyone gets 4 cards. I get the 4 weapons. You get the 4 shields. We all pick our choice and pass them around.
That is interesting.
I guess I'll put it this way. I just think you're taking the game too seriously than it was supposed to be taken. Just
no. But I'm not saying I get that. I feel like that just I don't know. It's almost like this pre-phase, which I would have just preferred to almost knock out, because it's going to be compared to other games. King of Tokyo. What's that game called? That robot game that I have from Gekko. It's going to be compared to that, compared to Ultimate Warriors. In those games, you go and you start playing right away. This one, there's that phase before it, which is cool thematically. Like, I got this weapon, I got this, but also can be where you bid a lot and you're still getting random stuff. And that I'm not so keen on.
Okay.
Well, since you brought up the other ones, I definitely like this one better than Gekido.
Okay.
I definitely like it. I think Gekido is, it tries to do more than it really should be doing. This one, I think, is the opposite. And again, it might be just because I'm taking it less, that auctioning and all that kind of stuff, I'm taking it less seriously than you are. Because really, the auction in this one, I'm thinking of the cards out there, what is the one that I want the most? I don't care really what it necessarily does in the game. What would be the coolest thing to fit the character that I chose? Okay. What am I willing to pay for that? Boom, this is what I'm willing to pay for that.
But how do you know how much you're willing to pay for it? That's the thing.
How much do I want it? It's not how much of a benefit it gives me in the game. How much do I want that thing to be part of my character in this game? That's the way I went into it. So I wanted to, and I still didn't even get everything that I wanted, but I didn't really care because at the end of the day, it's just a little dice rolling game.
No, I get that. Well, what about the gameplay itself? So you're rolling dice, you get 1 reroll. It's a typical Yahtzee type thing. Yeah. As the game goes by, you are likely going to have exhaustion tokens, and you'll be rolling less than 7 and things. Yep. Do you like that luck aspect to use it then to move around?
What I've been telling everybody is simply this, is that this is, if King of Tokyo and Ultimate Warriors had a baby, this is what it would be. And because I like both of those other games, I also like this game as well. Probably on much samer level. I probably like this one a little bit better than Ultimate Warriors, because Ultimate Warriors, I just felt, I don't know. It's been a while since I played it. I guess I'll have to play it again to really have a better litmus test on it. But I think that this one is better, maybe a shade below King of Tokyo for me.
Okay.
Well, this definitely has the most tactical movement in it of all these games.
Yeah.
And both Ultimate Warriors and Gekido, you were like standing there fighting each other. And King of Tokyo, there's 1 space.
We were talking about the dice anyway, and I think the dice in this work well. Yeah, you have combinations, you need to hit on those cards, but there's the built-in combinations of pairs that everybody gets.
Right.
You know,
that's
so
good.
even if you don't line up with the cards you drafted or purchased, whatever, you can still trigger some things. You know, you rarely aren't going to be able to do too much. You should be able to utilize most of your dice most rounds. And I think it works well. You know, it allows you to, it forces you to adapt a little bit, but it allows you to do plenty as well. You know, it didn't feel too restrictive. So I liked it.
All right, so what are your final thoughts then?
Let's start over there. Sam sounds like he really liked it.
Simon?
I did really enjoy it a lot. I want to play it more. I like the variability of characters where you feel different, almost like when King of Tokyo, before they had the power-ups. This is after they have the power-ups.
Right.
So it feels better, but not only is it static power-ups that character is going to have every game, your character can have different power-ups every game. And I really enjoy that. I really enjoy that, as you were saying earlier, that asymmetry in your character. I feel different than everybody else at the table, and I play differently than everybody else at the table. I really enjoy that. So with this one, I'm going to give this 2 Wings of the Valkyrie way up.
Yeah, I like it. I don't dislike the game. I think it's fine, although it's no next King of Tokyo. It's not even really comparable. They have a similar feel when you glance at them, but they're really quite different. But it is comparable to Ultimate Warriors and Gekko-Do. And I think I'd rather play both of those first. Not by a ton, but by some. The thing I like best about this is the customization of your character. That's really cool. I'm just not sure I like the way that you get there.
You don't like the delivery system, but you like what you get.
Yes.
Okay.
And I also feel like the game is just a smidge too long. Just a bit sometimes. Especially when you're playing with 6 players.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
Well, either way, I like it, so I'll give it 1 sword up. Not fantastic, but a good game.
Okay, cool. I really like, we've touched on this a few times, but the customization is really the thing that does it for me, how customizable the game is. Cards. Which character you go with, which cards you pick for them, the arena, everything. You can make this, the sandbox, be shaped into whatever game you want to play. You want more combat, tighten up the arena. You want to have a little more running around and chasing people down, pushing people into spikes, all that stuff. Widen it up a little bit, put some spikes around. And I like that.
Yeah, I do like that.
I like that you can kind of play the game you want to play, you know. I think it works well. And it's a game that I've really enjoyed. Does it blow my mind? Do I go home at night thinking about it? No, but I really like it. I don't like it as much as King of Tokyo.
I should have bought the
should have gotten that card. I don't like it as much as King of Tokyo, but for me, the other games we keep comparing them to, I think this is at least as good as them, if not better, you know? So yeah, it's good. I'm going to give it 1.5 lightning bolts up. It's good stuff.
I do want to say it this way. I think that in a family setting, I'd rather play King of Tokyo. In a gamer setting, I'd pull this out to have the same feel.
That's good.
I agree on that for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so that's Arena for the Gods.
Thanks for watching our review today. For more information about board games, as well as the #1 board game audio podcast, check out Dicetower.com for reviews, interviews, and more. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.